Vinland Saga. So, as y'all know, my monitor's broken, so I gotta find another way to stay alive on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So, now what I'm gonna be doing is doing reviews. First, I'm starting off with a Vinland Saga review. Next, I'm gonna do a 7 Deadly Sins review, which is, I'm probably gonna, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about when it was good and when it started turning bad and what really happened. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, I want to do a review on Persona 5. I haven't played any other Persona games, so I'm not going to do a review on none of those. I have played a little bit of 4 and Strikers, but not enough to do a full-on review. I'm not even past the first palace in Persona 4 because I haven't played it like that. But anyway, we're going to be doing this Vinland Saga one. I hope you enjoy. So without further ado, please like and subscribe. Vinland Saga. An anime that really is a diamond in the rough. It's so beautiful, but yet so sad. And on top of that, there's a lot of life lessons and meaning in this story. Some people might not be able to relate, and some people can relate. But everyone's had a different life. But I can tell you one thing, if you watch Vinland Saga, you will at least be able to relate about one thing. Whether it's the tragedy, or just the beautiful life of having a family who cares and loves about you. Vinland Saga is more than just an anime that involves killing and murder, but it's also about life lessons and what you make of it. So without further ado, let's really get into this Vinland Saga review. So first thing that we're going to talk about is the story of Vinland Saga. I'm not going to spoil it, so just letting y'all know so you can stay and watch, but it is just a review. I'll tell you if there's going to be any spoilers ahead. So the story of Vinland Saga is about a young man named Thorfinn. His dad was named Thors, and he used to be a Viking. Now his name or nickname was the Troll of Yon, but most people just called him the Troll. His dad was, I guess you could say, threatened by an old comrade to do something, but that comrade set him up. So basically, Thors and a bunch of other young men went out on this journey, but little did Thors know he was being set up to get killed, which is why Askeladd killed his father. Now, what makes the story of Vinland Saga, or Thorfinn, so great is that Thorfinn probably has one of the best character developments you will see. Now, for a lot of y'all who don't know too much about this anime, they do have a season 2. But the first season, dropped back in 2019, and the second season just dropped January 16 of 2023, right? But the manga been ended, so if you kept up with the manga, then you pretty much already know everything that's gonna happen. Now, me, as someone who's only watched 2 episodes of season 2, because I'm waiting for it to all come out in dub, which is Vinland Saga's dub is not bad. So if you do just want to watch dub but you're afraid of it being bad, you can go ahead and check that out. But besides that, the story of Vinland Saga is amazing because it has so many life lessons through, like, just in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, the first season of Vinland Saga is just Thorfinn trying to get his revenge. He just wants to get his revenge so bad. I mean, he cannot help it. But the guy he tries to get his revenge on, spoiler ahead, skip through, he ends up dying around the end of the anime. So when this guy dies, Thorfinn has no purpose pretty much, because his whole purpose was to get revenge for his father. So now he's like, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? And it turns out, in season 2, spoiler again, skip ahead, not too much of a spoiler actually, but he becomes a slave. And you can see he lost all his fighting spirit. In the first season, we can never see Thorfinn becoming a slave. I could never see this man who's out here killing a bunch of people become a slave. But he did become a slave. And now he's just working until he gets his freedom. Right? But the whole thing of season 2 was pretty much about him developing better as a character, him figuring out what he wants to do in life. For example, if you're a kid like me or a teenager, you're still trying to figure out what you want to do in life. And that's what Thorfinn is trying to do. Now he's 18 years old, 19 years old, and he's trying to figure out what does he want to do? What is his purpose? And in season 2, basically, that's what he does. He tries to figure out his purpose or what he has to live for. In fact, in season 2, a guy tries to attack him and he defends himself. And in his mind, he was like, why did I just do that? I have no reason to live. And then the other guy was like, I guess your body does want to live, Thorfinn. And the guy, in Thorfinn's mind, he's like, why did I just do that? I have nothing to live for anyway. If I died, it wouldn't make a change. But his body reacted in a whole different manner. His mind is saying something different, but his body said something completely different. He didn't even get a scratch on him because Thorfinn doesn't want to die, or at least his body doesn't. But really, Thorfinn thinks he doesn't care about life and he thinks he wants to die, but really he does. So that's pretty much the whole story in season 2. It's just basically him having some character development, I guess you could say. But that's one of the things that really just makes the story of Vinland Saga so great. It's very relatable and it's very understandable for the audience. Even if you've never had maybe a good family or a horrible life like Thorfinn and there's nothing you can relate to, you might be able to relate to other characters. If you can't relate to anything in this anime, then maybe you'll just like it because you like fighting, or maybe you just like it because of the characters. Even if you can't relate, you'll like something about it. Now, the graphics of Vinland Saga, are just amazing. I mean, oh my gosh. Even in season 2, there was still no, graphic drops. Now, I don't think there's going to be a lot of fighting in season 2. So far, there's only been, really one fight scene that you can probably consider a fight scene. From what I've seen. Don't take it off my word too much. I haven't seen the other 3 that they have published right now, because there's 5 episodes out right now that I know of. So don't take my word on too much. But all I know is there's really one fight, and it's not even really a fight. You know what I'm saying? Like how they're doing in this clip I have right now. But the graphics are still just amazing. I mean, every time they go off to show a beautiful part of the land, it's like they really make sure you can embrace and feel that certain part of the land, just by looking at it. It's like when you turn on your Chromebook or PC or MacBook and they give you a beautiful background of just an area and you're like, man, this really looks good. It's like you're like, dang, this really looks nice. You know what I'm saying? That's how it feels. And then the fighting, it just works out perfectly. I mean, a lot of fighting animes don't have, some of these fighting animes really don't have good graphics. Some of them are pretty bad. But Vinland Saga is just one of those animes, even though it was back in 2019, it still was good. And even now, even though there's not a lot of fighting, so if you don't like a lot of fighting, then I guess it would make sense for you to not watch season 2. I mean, if you want a lot of fighting, then it would make sense for you to not watch season 2. But besides that, yeah, you totally should watch season 2. I think it would be worth anyone's time to check out. But besides that, it really is just a good anime. The graphics are good, the fighting's good, the scenery is good. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much about it for what I would say for the graphics. There's not really any frame drops that I've seen. I mean, it typically does every anime thing where when you zoom out, they don't show their face. But that's almost every anime. I mean, come on now. Let's be honest. My favorite anime is Naruto, and I love Naruto, and even they've done it. If y'all, One Piece, Bleach, Dragon Ball Z, they've all done it. Every anime's done it. It doesn't matter. They all do it, okay? Now, the combat in Vinland Saga, whew, it is amazing. I mean, it is really amazing. A lot of animes that are good or maybe average that involve fighting, a lot of them don't have good fighting, or fighting styles, for example. I think a good example to bring up would be something like let's see, Dragon Ball Z. Right? Dragon Ball Z is an amazing anime. I love it. I really do. And no hate to Dragon Ball Z or anything like that, but if we're all gonna be technically honest, the fighting in Dragon Ball Z is not that good. I mean, last time I checked, I'm not a Super Saiyan, and I can't see how fast they're punching. On top of that, even if I was a Super Saiyan or I was a Namekian and I could see how fast they were punching, it's a show. All they're doing is making it look like they're punching super fast. So you can't even really see that. It's good and all, and of course sometimes you can see when they're fighting, but a lot of the time they're going so fast you can't even see it. It's just them going back and forth, exchanging blows with each other. But for example, something like Naruto, I can see everything. Think of the Kakashi fight, right? The fighting in there was just like top tier. They're going back and forth with the kunai, the ninjutsu, and all of that, And to prove I'm not just deriding Naruto, because I just said something about Naruto, I'll bring up another anime. Let's see. One Piece. One Piece has good fighting scenes. I don't really watch One Piece, and by really, I mean I don't really like it, but One Piece does have some pretty good fighting scenes from what I've seen. I mean, they make some of the fighting just look amazing in One Piece. Or Bleach. And if you think I'm just naming just the big three because, oh, it's the big three. Okay, well then I'll name you something else. Let's see. Black Clover, My Hero Academia, Fire Force. And look, My Hero does have some good fight scenes, especially their new season. Black Clover has definitely had some good fights. I don't care what you say. And Fire Force, they're fighting like almost every few episodes, and they're all good. So I just named you some, so you can't just say I'm deriding Naruto, okay? But you can't tell me that Vinland Saga just doesn't have a good fighting style. Because they're warriors and they're meant to be Vikings, it makes sense that they have multiple styles. For example, Thorfinn is a small guy that uses daggers. Now, daggers are weapons where you have to get close and personal, versus where if you had a sword, you could stay farther back. If he had two swords, then that'd be perfect, right? But he has two daggers, so he has to get up and close, and they show that with him getting up and close. For example, when he almost fought Askeladd and he was about to grab his arm, he knew, because one, Askeladd is stronger than him. He's a grown man. He knew if Askeladd grabs him by his arm, it's probably up for him. But he knows he needs to stay close and personal, so he backs up. Because if one of his arm breaks, I mean, I guess he could use his mouth. He has done that before. He has triple-wielded weapons. When he had the dagger in his mouth, and then he used the enemy's sword. He has done that. But either way, it's more efficient when you're using both of your arms, especially because that's usually what he does. So since he needs to stay up and close, it shows that by him always being up and close. Even when he fought Thorkel, he still was up and close to him. He's like 6 foot, 7 foot plus. I mean, he's called Thorkel the Tall. So I mean, and Thorfinn was only a teenager in that clip and was about probably 5'4", maybe even shorter than that, because 18 Thorfinn's like 5'6" or 7, which he should be taller, but apparently the animators, it was easier to draw him short, I guess, which makes sense, but stop it. Okay, his dad is like a giant, so he should be a giant, you know what I'm saying? And his mom doesn't seem to be that short either, so, and his sister wasn't short either, so come on now, stop it. I know y'all probably don't want to draw tall characters, but come on now. Let's be realistic here. Just like with Baki. Baki is 5 foot. I'm as tall as Baki. He's 5'7", and his dad is 6 foot plus. Like, come on now, let's be realistic here. But either way, I guess you get a guy's mom's genes. But either way, that's not the point. Either way, the combat style is very clean, and you can see it from each character. Anyone who uses bow and arrows, you can see it. Anyone who uses swords, you can see it. Anyone who uses any type of weapon in Vinland Saga, you can see the skill that they have with it, or at least this type of style that they use with that weapon, which is one reason why Vinland Saga combat is top tier. Now, I'm not saying it's the best, but if I had to rank it on a tier list, I would say their combat is about a B plus. Maybe A. It goes in B or A tier. I don't care what you say, because their combat style is good. I wouldn't give it S tier, but it's definitely there. Rating. Well, if I had to give Vinland Saga a rating of 1 out of 10, I would personally give it an 8. If we're comparing it to other Diamond and the Rest animes that not a lot of people know, has fighting, has character development, and other things like that, like other low tier animes, then it would be a 10 out of 10. But if we're comparing it to all types of animes, like Dragon Ball Z, the big three, the new gen animes like Boruto, My Hero, Baki, all these other animes that involve fighting, Fire Force, etc., then I would have to give it an 8. Now, if I was rating it on a tier list, I would give it A tier, because I feel like S tier animes are something special, you know what I'm saying? A tier animes are also special, but S tier animes are way more special than what an A tier anime is, in my personal opinion. So if I had to give it a personal actually, I ain't gonna lie, I probably would give it an S tier rating. If I had to rate it, I ain't gonna lie, I'd give it an S tier rating, because it's just an amazing anime. What can I say? But if I had to rate it, on a scale of 1 through 10, it would definitely be like an 8 or a 9. Personally, one of those two. Would I recommend someone to watch it? Yes, I would recommend anyone I talk to watch it, whether it was an old person or a person around my age. You know what I'm saying? I'd recommend anyone who likes anime, who likes fighting, to watch this, because that's just how good of an anime it is. But that's just my personal opinion. But after this, I would highly recommend you guys go on Netflix or Hulu and check it out. Vinland Saga. You won't regret it. Hey guys, so since this was my first review, it might not be that good. Maybe you don't like how I sounded. Maybe you don't like the music I put in the background. Maybe you don't like the clips that I had. But you know what you could do to fix that? Comment. If you comment, tell me what you liked and didn't like. That would be very helpful, so I would know what to fix and what I should do next time when I'm doing it. But since this is my first review, I'm gonna rewatch this real quick and see how it goes, and hopefully I like it. But yeah, please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and without further ado, roll out the outro.